Listen up, soldiers of the internet. This is General Nobody, commander of the meme militia, broadcasting from the trenches of content creator hell. We're at war with the YouTube algorithm, a heartless AI overlord that bans videos faster than my grandma unfriends people on Facebook. Their strikes hit harder than a Karen demanding a manager, and their community guidelines are vaguer than my Wi-Fi signal in a thunderstorm. To date, we march for Smash JT, a brave warrior whose video was nuked for kneecaps. Kneecaps, people! But it ain't just his fight. It's for every creator dodging demonetization like dodging the smell at an anime convention. And leading our charge, President Trump, who's gotta dust off his promises made, promises kept battle cry, and fix Section 230 before YouTube turns us all into TikTok refugees. Lock and load your keyboards, troops. It's time to storm the algorithm. I know Furious Stan is gonna meme that to all hell. Alright, now the Smash JT situation is the wake-up call for Donald Trump to fulfill his promise to have Congress revise Section 230. But before we get into the Trump portion of the video, I need to explain the Smash JT situation with YouTube. Like I said before, Smash JT is at war with YouTube for what seems to be one of the dumbest reasons I have ever seen on YouTube. And when I say dumb, I would say that it's more dumb than the Corey Kenshin Markiplier mascot video incident, because YouTube didn't understand what a joke was. And it's hard to find a creator on YouTube that hasn't been demonetized, shadow banned, or even hit with a community guideline strike without giving a reason that takes an entire video down. And that leads us back to Smash JT and his Alanah Pearce video. But I want to make it clear, the video I'm making right now is not about Alanah, but more so about YouTube's inconsistencies and vagueness. Alanah, I'm sorry, you're just a vehicle, and I am gonna clown on you a little bit. So, sorry not sorry? In Smash JT's video, he communicates to his audience on several disingenuous claims that Alanah Pearce has made, amongst other things, including her claiming that she was a writer for Santa Monica Studios when it seems like in all actuality she worked in the accessibility department. That led to this wild take from her saying that having children was a situational disability.
There are long-term disabilities, there are situational disabilities, there are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause. That is a situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance for your particular disability, a situational disability. You may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket.
I honestly wish I was making this shit up. And Alanah, people got mad about what you said because you're essentially saying that being a parent isn't a lifelong responsibility, but a lifelong disability, in my humble opinion. Because I could take the argument that a game has a situational disability because it doesn't have a pause button. And what I just said was fairly dumb, but it makes more sense than what you said. But if you want to check out what Smash was talking about in regards to Alanah, you can check out the article on smashjt.com in the description down below for more info. But Mr. Nobody, you handsome-faced devil, why can't you just provide the link to the video instead? Well, because YouTube removed the video and gave Smash JT's channel a community guideline strike. Or maybe it was a warning. I forget. We're gonna continue forward anyways. For violating YouTube's policy on, and I quote, nudity and or sexual content. Even though in all the clips, she is fully clothed the entire time, and Smash JT's best guess, as of a few days ago, I think that might have changed now, is that YouTube's AI mistook her knees for her chest pillows. And I promise, if you scrub through the entire video, there is maybe one part you could argue as sexual. That is a screenshot post that did a close-up of her chest that is clearly covered by a shirt, but it was more in the context of someone talking about Alanah Pearce from a post. But that's not the point here. The point is the inconsistency of YouTube. And I'm gonna use Alyssa Mercante's argument to make my argument. Because let's just say she may have entered the chat and gave her dumb 2 cents, because that's what she does.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Now, Alyssa Mercante pointed this out on X. The TOS states, unwanted sexualization such as non-consensually shared imagery or voyeurism. First off, Alyssa. This you? Secondly, I would agree with you, Alyssa, if it weren't for evidence of Alana Pierce posting herself in a bikini on her Instagram, which is arguably sexual content, which I still have to blurt out just in case. And to continue the inconsistency, I found this short on YouTube called Alana Pierce Cute Legs. This isn't taken down, but according to YouTube, this could potentially be breaking TOS. But they are so inconsistent in their communication, no one ever truly knows what the fuck is going on. Now, let's assume YouTube is right. And granted, it does seem like there may be an argument on a section of the video that is less than 1 second long, it seems. And it is deemed by the YouTube gods as sexual content. The problem is YouTube will sometimes tell creators, and sometimes refuse to tell creators, exactly where the infraction occurred, which would help the creator in the future avoid making that mistake again. But it's not only that. YouTube provides an editing tool where they have told creators to cut certain portions of their vehicle to be within their TOS guidelines, but they are so inconsistent in even doing that. And I don't have a quote on hand from Smash JT, but if I know the guy even a little bit, he would probably say something along the lines of, yeah, the cut would look a little weird, but at least I was informed on what the issue was and I was able to fix it, because I'm not gonna cry about a 1 second cut of a video. I'm not good with Smash JT impressions. He sounds kind of whiny. And I wish I could provide a link to the video so you can make your own determination on the Green Competitors website, but it's alleged that YouTube dings your videos if you even mention the Green Competitor, much less provide a link in the description. And if you don't believe me, might I suggest trying to mention the Green Competitor in a super chat, because it literally didn't let me do it to the point where I had to misspell it the other day, and I looked like a moron. But Smash JT has provided a link on his X account, which I will put in the description down below, that shows the full video on the Green Competitor's site. And remember to comment below if you think that YouTube was right or wrong to take down Smash JT's video. But this is bigger than Smash JT or Alana Pierce, because it shows the continuing hypocrisy and unfair policies that put many content creators on their platform in binds over and over and over again. And Smash JT did something interesting on Grok the other night during his live stream. And just as a disclaimer, you should not use AI for legal advice, but Grok does a very decent job at explaining why creators rarely have any legal recourse in regards to situations such as this.
Just for a quick overview, could this be incorrect? Of course it could. But just for entertainment purposes only, I asked, and I was like, can I sue YouTube? Because they wrongfully took down my video. And replied, you can attempt to sue YouTube, but it would be very difficult to win. Here's a breakdown why. YouTube Terms of Service, create your account, you agree to the TOS. The TOS specifically grants them broad rights to remove content at their discretion, even if the decision is unfair or incorrect. This is one of the biggest hurdles. In the Terms of Service, they cover their ass saying, yeah, we can take your video down and be wrong about it, and we still have the right to do that to you. Which, what? Section 230 US law under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, platforms like YouTube are legally protected from being sued over decisions they make to moderate or remove user content, even if they act inconsistently or unfairly, which I've heard about from multiple people, so I'm inclined to agree with this AI assessment thus far. Breach of contract. Some lawsuits have tried to argue that YouTube violates its own policies, like promising fair review during appeals, but not actually giving one. Hey, I know a guy in that situation right now. However, these cases rarely succeed unless there's clear evidence that you acted in a way that is fraudulent, discriminatory, or retaliatory. Rare and hard to prove. First Amendment. YouTube is a private company, not the government, so the First Amendment free speech protections do not apply to suing them.
And just to show how far YouTube's hypocrisy goes, you could look up naked yoga on YouTube. And you might be surprised what you see. And not only that, on Smash JT's X account, he provided screenshots of thumbnails of sexual content that's still up on YouTube as of this recording, that also showed blatant nudity that clearly violates YouTube's terms of service. Now, I can imagine that these videos are more than likely demonetized, but the point is that Smash's video was given a warning or a strike, I honestly forget, and removed. And these videos get to stay on YouTube, continuing the inconsistency of the platform. Think an appeal would fix Smash JT's banned video? Nope. He got to a human at YouTube who hung up on him, refusing to explain, caught live, on stream.
Is there a manager above you that I could speak with? What? They just ended the chat. They just ended the chat, just live. Wow. Appreciate you guys for hearing me out and just straight up hanging up on me.
And that's just one way YouTube's screwing creators. Now, let's break it down. YouTube sometimes will give a creator a timestamp to edit something out of the video. YouTube sometimes doesn't give the creator a timestamp to edit something out of the video. YouTube will sometimes give specifics. YouTube will sometimes not give specifics. And creators like myself, Smash JT, and a lot of other creators do want to follow the rules. But YouTube seems to refuse to be consistent or specific with us creators all over the globe to do better, fix our mistakes, and do our best to avoid situations like this in the future. Now, where does Trump fit into all this? A little over 2 years ago, before Trump started his second term, him and his team actually released a video regarding Section 230, which is what allows social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram to moderate their platform, more or less, which is what I think YouTube is truly scared of in regards to our new president.
Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech.
Now, then he says this, which I believe is the heart of the argument.
Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal.
YouTube, I love you, and I love this platform, and I want nothing more but to see it thrive. But if you could be just 5% more transparent with creators, situations like this would be avoided most of the time. But President Trump, it's time that I address you and your team. Hello, Mr. President. Throughout your campaign, you have said, promises made, promises kept. This is something, to my knowledge, that hasn't been even addressed since you've been in office. So I call on you to follow through so we can have a better YouTube and a more transparent YouTube, so creators and users alike can feel confident on viewing and posting on platforms. But what do I know? I'm just nobody.